Tell us about this flotilla that you're both involved in. I believe, Matt, you are helping coordinate, and Barry, you're actually going on a boat to Gaza. Can you talk about what this project is, what you guys are doing, and what you hope to achieve?
Yeah, well, Israel does not own Gaza. And they've been, they're illegally occupying that part of the world. And they've had a siege going on there as far as aid coming into that country for 17 years. And so numerous boats have gone already before challenging that siege. And, they've been dangerous missions, and typically they haven't gotten through to where they want to go. And most often they're detained, arrested, and deported. One year, I think it was in 2000, where they actually boarded a ship and killed 10 people. But what they've done over the years is they sink the boats. It doesn't go where. So we're just a continuation of that. It's just a different situation because there's the genocide happening there. But we got 5,500 tons of aid on a separate boat. It's the International Freedom Flotilla Coalition. It's a coalition from around the world. We're going to gather in Istanbul and do 3 days of training, and Matt's going to be our media guy. And then we're going to take the boat, but we don't know what's going to happen once we want to get to Gaza or to wherever the boats confront us or wherever they don't confront us. But we don't want to just deliver it. Of course, we want to deliver the aid, but we want to break the siege. This is another attempt because Israel is it's illegal, and that our country allows them to be in charge of humanitarian aid is insane. I mean, we're talking about all the other insane. Why would Israel be in charge of the humanitarian aid? Come on, tell me that. They just gave us a legal thing about it. And I'm not a criminal. For customs or somebody to start questioning me what I'm doing, I'm trying to help save life, man. And I'm trying to do a good thing here. In the no media, we put out press release all over town. Nothing. It's not newsworthy. And I went to my local reporter the day that the aid workers were killed. I went to my reporter and said, hey, a group of us are going this month to deliver some aid, and we're aid workers. No
Right.
story there, But I said, I suppose if we get shot, then there'll be a story, But anyhow, so we're, I desperately want, I just been envisioning since October 7th what's going to happen to Palestinians. And that just kills it, breaks my heart. Seeing these children and people suffering and dying and starving to death, it's just so ungodly cruel that I can't stand it. And so this is just, to me, one more attempt to try to stop the madness. And we just hope that, something good will come of it. So that's my pitch.
Yeah. I mean, it's scary, though, because as you referred to, they did try this before and people were killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And nothing happened to Israel.
Right. Nothing, and impunity, just like Trump, never a consequence.
Right.
Impunity, and the lies and the lies, and it just drives me out of my mind, and the people cutting the funding to UNRWA, right after the ICJ gives them, hey, you got to clean up your act. Then what do? Well, then they say, oh, there's 12 workers in Hamas in UNRWA. So then there goes UNRWA. Oh, right. Timing, huh? I mean, it's just
even if they were telling it, even if that were true, which there's no evidence of that, but that would mean that 0.002% of UNRWA did something criminal. Whereas a much greater percentage of the IDF has committed crime. So we should be defunding them.
Right, exactly.
And posting TikTok videos of it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's the thing. Like, there actually is evidence of this.
Yeah.
And there's no repercussions for them, but there is for allegations that have no evidence, and except for some torture confessions, unreliable confessions elicited through torture. Yeah. And Matt, what's your role in this going to be?
Oh, I'm just administrative. I'm not even leaving North Carolina.
Okay.
So I shouldn't be in this conversation, but what you're seeing though is you're seeing people like, men and women like Barry who are witnessing this genocide, witnessing this ethnic cleansing, these war crimes, this deliberate starvation, and saying, I'm not going to accept that. And they're compelled to do something. So they're getting on this boat with all that aid. More than 5,000 tons of aid, which to give people idea how much that is, because you say that to me, I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But the World Central Kitchen, Jose Andres' people that went in with their boat, they had 200 tons of aid. So this is quite an enormous amount. And no one is taking this cavalierly. No one is taking this lightly. Everyone involved knows the Israelis have already killed almost 200 humanitarian aid workers. But these men and women are they're how can they stand by? How can you stand by? How can you do nothing? And that's what you hear from when you talk to people like Barry and all the others. We've got approximately 40 Americans who are going on this. When you talk to them, that's what they all say. It's not like they got together and planned their response. This is how they feel. How can I stand by and do nothing? And, and to Barry's point, it's just one illegal act after another. So every time the Israelis stop these ships, they do it in international water. They commit hijackings, basically. Yeah. Right. I mean, so it's not even like but that's the Israelis. They have no care for international law. They have no care for public opinion, no care for what the world thinks of them. As long as they have the United States under control, and as long as they can count on the United States backing them, including, the reserve currency of the US dollar, the world's reserve currency, they can be Fortress Israel. And they're in this position now, as we were saying earlier, where this is the best opportunity they're going to get. And they are conducting this ethnic cleansing, this genocide. And so, these men and women like Barry are going to do something about it.
We hope something positive will come of it. Like I say, in the past, they've sunk the ships and took the aid.
Yeah, and to be clear, this is not. No one is viewing this as a suicide mission. None of these people are. I'm going to martyr myself. There's none of that type of false bravado. But these are serious men and women, serious people who realize that they can do something about this. And and the idea being is, how will the world respond? Right. So when members of Congress realize that they've got constituents who are trying to bring food and medicine into Gaza, and the Israelis are stopping them. The Israelis have the ability to stop these boats, of course, and then detaining them and arresting them and putting them in an Israeli prison. What are American congressmen and women going to do? I think most of us know the answer, but it's the point of it, to what Barry said, it's about breaking the siege.
Yeah. By the way, I did deliver, kind of on Matt's motivation there. I visited my Congress and Senate today and delivered a letter, asking for your granting us safe passage and respecting my rights, as a public citizen. I have a right to do, and expecting you to be at my back on this, and expecting you to use what power you have to make sure we get safe passage.
Right.
Right. And that's a good point that Barry makes. I mean, international law is on their side.
Right.
Right. And not only is that, but also we have the orders from the International Court of Justice from January and March, ordering that everything be done to remedy this humanitarian catastrophe that's occurring because of Israel's, genocide, their deliberate starvation, their siege, etc.
Was Anne right on the Mavi Marmara?
Yes. Adjacent boat.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the Mavi Marmara was the one where people were killed, where the Israelis actually boarded.
Yeah, they killed 9 on the spot, and then another person died a few years later, and that was 2010.
And were they all Turkish people who were killed?
No, one was an American. And what do you think the Obama administration did?
Yeah, what did they do? Obama,
Nothing.
the good one.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Good president, right?
He wore a beige suit, and so everyone got upset.
Scandal,
yeah.
Wow. Because I was going to say, I mean, having veterans, I'm hoping and Americans, but being an American doesn't always work, obviously, as we know with Rachel Corrie and Shireen Abu Akleh and this person who you just mentioned. But maybe having Americans on the ship, having veterans will provide, I'm hoping, some kind of layer of protection. I mean, it shouldn't be that way, obviously. It's a disgusting thing that certain people's lives are worth more because of their nationality. But we know how Israel works.
One of the leaders is Palestinian.
It's actually Israeli. She has Israeli citizenship.
But it's going to be a really, really great group of people. I think just going to be an honor just to be a part of this thing. And whatever comes of it. One of the things that pushed me, I'm not a brave person. I'm not a hero. I've had to work through a lot of fear, and I had used Matt for consulting board. But one of the things that pushed me over is not a suicide mission. And I thought we were going to be on that aid boat. And I said, well, shoot, how do they know what's on that boat? They're going to just drop a bomb on us, you
Right.
know? They'd say, and they could lie about it, you know? They would
Yeah, like they
disappear.
always do. Yeah.
Yeah. So to know that that boat is separate from the passenger boat, that was
Okay.
helpful. That was helpful.
So you guys are taking some precautions.
Some precautions.
Yeah, there's a lot of precautions, and of course, can't talk about it, right?
Right. Sure.
But to Barry's point though about the group, it is an amazing group, and it's young people, older people, it's people, Jews, Christians, Muslims.
Oh, nice. Great.
It's people who have family in Palestine, who've lived in Palestine, people who didn't know about this issue until 6 months ago, and
Wow.
people who are engineers, and people who are lawyers, people who are doctors. I mean, just there's just the range of diversity in this group. It's it's really remarkable. I think when the American people, when they hear about this, if best case, of course, is the ships are able to land and to bring their cargo ashore, and there's plans to do that. I know people are saying how's it going to happen, but there's plans to do that. But if it does happen where the Israelis do hijack these ships and detain our fellow citizens, I think Americans are going to be very surprised at the type of people who went on this. These are not, the long-haired hippie weirdos people think, I mean, like, and nothing wrong with long hair or being a hippie weirdo, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about in the sense of kind of like the attitude in this country towards people who care about these types of things and do these kinds of things.
Well, any final words from either of you for tonight? I don't mean, that sounded overly dramatic. Anything else you want to make sure we get into discussion? This has been really great and really helpful. And thank you so much for joining.
I just want to thank you for giving us air. Like I say, we're not getting a whole lot of, I did a Minnesota News Network, and that's been about it locally, or, outside of the groups that we're involved with, all the coalition of Free Palestine groups and stuff like that. I really appreciate you giving us some time to talk about it, and any kind of support. Just prayers and whatever. I got a native friend who I said, I want you to pray for me, Strong Buffalo, and he did 34 tobacco ties, and they put them in a pack for me. So I'm going to wear those around my neck. But
nice.
I take all the support we go to get.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. It's been allowing us to be on here.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Katie. And if people want more information, they can go to the website. Freedom Flotilla Coalition is the overall coalition. There's 12 nations that are a part of this. And then the U.S. delegation, the website is U.S. Boats to Gaza. So Freedom Flotilla Coalition or U.S. Boats to Gaza. And those are also the same Twitter names. So people want to follow on Twitter. And there's plans to ensure that people are able to follow the progress of the boats as this mission goes out, as this emergency mission it gets put underway.
Good. Yeah, we'll link to those in the description. We will add those.
Fantastic.
We'll follow you. We'll follow you and amplify your social media stuff.
Yeah, that's hopefully the world will be able to witness this on some level. They got people with drones, and whatever happens with the Israeli commandos or whatever, it's going to be until they board the boat or would do something. It's going to be, that's what I understand anyhow, that we're going to be monitoring their behavior.